Well, hello everybody. This is a place value review. I just want to kind of refresh what place value is, and we're going to use place value chart. We're going to start off, and I want to look at the decimal. Decimal is really important, and I need you to understand it's important to know how to spell it and how to write it when we're writing it in word form. So here's the word decimal, but if we're writing it in word form, it is and. This is really important, especially when we're writing it in word form. We're going to jump to the side of the whole numbers. So on this side, we call this the whole numbers because this has our ones, which is right next to our decimal, our tens, our hundreds, and thousands. And then on the other side of the decimal, you guys, is what I call part of our whole, because it is a partial. I also call this my THS side, because at the end of all my words, it's THS. So we start off with tenths. We go to hundredths. And then we do thousandths. Now, I forgot my S, you guys, it didn't fit. I apologize. Now that we have that all set up, let's look at a word, a number, not necessarily a word. I have 137 and 59 hundredths. There's a few ways we can look at this. We can make this 10 times greater or 10 times less. So if we're going 10 times greater, we are going to be multiplying it by 10. So when that happens, all our digits move one place value to the left. And we know this because there's an extra 0 here. We know any number times 1 is itself. So if we multiply it by 10, it gets 10 times larger. So we're going to take this 100 and turn it into 1,000. My 30 becomes 300. My 7 becomes 70. My 5/10 becomes 5. My 900 becomes 9/10. Now let's look at it the other way. We're going to divide by 10. Now what's great about dividing by 10, if we moved our digits left for multiplication, division is we move our digits right. So my 100 becomes 10, my 30 becomes 3, my 7 ones becomes 7/10, my 5/10 becomes 500ths, and my 900ths becomes 9,000ths. So when it comes to multiplying and dividing, our digits are moving. When we're multiplying, they move left, and when we're dividing, they move right. These are my digits. Now, let's look at what the decimal looks like it's doing. Remember, we're usually just moving our place value. But let's start my number. I had 137 and 59 hundredths. I'm just going to write this 3 times, you guys, so that I remember what it looks like. And I'm going to show you what it looks like when we multiply and divide by 10. And remember, 10 when we're multiplying by 10, it's actually 10 to the first power, you guys. So if I'm dividing by 10, again, it's 10 to the first power, but we're just dividing. So let's look at our multiplication. We're starting right here, and I need to move my decimal one place to the right because I'm making the 100 to 1,000. So I'm going to take it, and my decimal is going to bounce right. So now I have 1,375 and 9/10. Now, if I'm looking at it and I'm dividing, my decimal's moving left. So I'm going to bounce it left so that I get 13 and 759 thousandths. I'm hoping this is a good review. Another thing I want to quick review with you is how do you know how many place values to move? This is where you need to look at what you're multiplying. With 10 to the first, we actually have the first power right here, or our 10, that's telling us we have 1 0, or the exponent of 1. It's telling you 1. So let's say we do multiply it by 100 or divide by 100. Well, you guys, another way to write 100 is 10 squared. So if I look at that, I'm looking at the exponent. It's telling me 2 spaces, or I'm looking at the 100 with 2 zeros. Again, 2 spaces. So we move it, or digits, 2 spaces for a place value. I'm hoping this is a great review. I sure had fun. Have a marvelous day. And remember to smile, giggle, and wiggle.